Good morning. I'm happy to be here to share with you a new innovative experiment that we're working in the U.S. government with the theme of providing stability in chaos through information sharing. Peace, it's what we all wish for the world. But usually when you think of DoD, you think of peace from above. In Afghanistan, there is a large amount of troops, and they're primarily led by the International Security Assistance Force, which is part of NATO. So in any effort like this, collaboration and coordination is critical, but this is made all the more complex by the international factor. Furthermore, we've seen a shift from counterterrorism operations to counterinsurgency and stability operations. So we have this massive intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance apparatus that is really good at collecting data against the enemy, but not so good about collecting data, the white information about the population. And that information is critical to understanding the needs of the local Afghans, to empower them to take charge of their own stability, and to allow us to leverage the amazing amount of resources we've invested in the area most efficiently and effectively. So we have a coordination effort. We need to work with our coalition partners as well as with civilian and non-government organizations in the area. And for all the networks that are there, the one common network is the internet. And presently, we aren't communicating effectively, and so this adds risk, not only to lives, but our own efficiency and effectiveness. So while our military is out there doing the traditional mission of trying to neutralize the enemy, they're also working to train the local Afghans to take charge for their own stability. And while they're doing that, they're engaged in humanitarian efforts, similar to what you've seen in response to Haiti or the floods in Pakistan. They're working on getting food distributed, getting citizens to the polls to vote, as well as leading civil reconstruction projects. Also through partnerships like Operation Outreach, the U.S. and Afghan military are working to distribute school supplies to children. So while both the military and civilian partners in the region are working to win the hearts and the minds of the people, from the youngest to the oldest, drinking 3 cups of tea, and building physical bridges, our challenge is how do we create those virtual bridges across the different provinces, across the tribes, across the different players in that theater of operations? Well, at Gov 2.0, we're all aware of the amazing power of the internet and the Web 2.0 capabilities. And looking at how an internet connection can allow people from around the world to support a population that desperately needs their support. Witness the amazing crowdsourcing we saw in response to Haiti after their earthquake. CENTCOM has leveraged the power of Web 2.0. You can follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and you can see various photos of their activities as well as ISAFs in the area on Flickr. You can follow the U.S. forces in Afghanistan and ISAF on Twitter. You can also like the page of ISAF and the U.S. embassies in the area on Facebook. So we thought, given all this amazing power, we're going to do an experiment. That experiment we're entitling UnityNet. And the hypothesis there is that if we can eliminate the barrier to entry and get the Afghans on the internet, they can reach out, discover, connect with each other, share information, maybe little sound bites like these Ignite sessions. And if somebody's interested, then they can follow up. They can create the virtual communities, connect with that collaborative international community that is out there willing to help them. We're leveraging capabilities that DoD has already established, such as through Star Tides, where they have gone to post-disaster areas and helped create solutions for shelter, water, power, and even telecommunications and IT. We're looking at leveraging mapping data and getting that more broadly released in addition to imagery data. So you can harness the power of the OpenStreetMap community, for example, so they can do mapping parties of areas in Afghanistan where we have sparse information. That mapping data can be used to gather all that population-centric data and help the troops on the ground as well as the civilian partners hone in on particular areas of interest that are of concern and drill down and focus their resources on that effort. We're not doing this alone. We are working to leverage the success of people who have already been operating in the area. The military has made 3 cups of tea and stones into schools required reading. We're also looking at harnessing the Afghans' own initiative to learn, and things like 1 laptop per child and the connections to the internet and their interest in learning more about Web 2.0 capabilities, and leveraging the data that we've seen already provided in the area with the premise of, Dick mentioned Dr. Warner, of that if we share with them first, provide them the connectivity, the maps, the imagery, and the data, that they will want to share back with us and with each other, creating a shared situational awareness. So we're working with non-traditional partners, eliminating that barrier to the entry to the internet to ultimately empower the Afghans, understand their needs, and better apply our resources, ultimately allowing them to take charge of their own stability. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today.
Thank you very much, Michele.